Hello! Happy New Year, and welcome back to the library. We begin the new year with Arc the Lad 1, the first in the Arc the Lad trilogy of games. It would be released in Japan around the summer of 1995, but if you were like me, in America, you pretty much waited till the system was practically dead to buy it. But hey, we got everything in one box, so not bad of a wait. Today's video focuses on Arc the Lad 1, as I go through the whole box one title at a time. Arc is the series' main protagonist, and you'll begin his journey looking for his father, who went missing a decade earlier. Tied to his quest is Kukuru, the protector of the sacred flame who desperately wants her freedom rather than her legacy. From these two, the player's team will eventually encompass 7 characters, each with their own delightful vibe, skills, and movesets. Gameplay is rooted in the strategy RPG genre. Players are pawns on a board and must maneuver in and around enemy characters in turn-based combat. Attacking from the sides and behind increases the chance for better damage. One of the game's first curious applications is revealed here. There's no shops or rest areas. Everything you'll earn in the game, from weapons to spells and moves to accessories, are all procured from the battles themselves. This requires the player to keep an eye on treasure chests within the battle maps and how to open them while fending off the opposition. Gleefully, the game allows for some creative angles concerning treasure chests. You don't have to be next to it to earn its spoils. Hitting it with a rock or a magic spell will produce the desired result. Each character has strengths and weaknesses as expected, but I was struck by how well they really play off each other in the battle. Arc and Tosh are the swordsmen, the main assault team. Kukuru, Arc's love interest, joins the old wizard Gogen for healing and magical support. Changara acts as the monster wrangler who summons creatures with various abilities. He's the icing on the cake attack-wise. That leaves drumline member Poco and monk Iga. Iga is used to poking holes in the enemy defenses. His main attacks are minimal, but he can eventually target and attack multiple enemies simultaneously. It's pretty cool to watch. It's Poco, though, where the game's charm shines. The last standing member of a military patrol sent out by his king, Poco is found hiding from monsters. Equipped only with his musical instruments, he fends off his attackers with cymbals, horns, harps, and my absolute favorite, the drum. If used, it produces this anime-sized energy beam that just annihilates everything in its path. That's where one of Arc's major highlights is. The graphics and animation are nothing short of pure joy. Every single character, enemy and NPC, exudes animation and creative reactions. Slimes wobble in place only to stretch into 2 separate targets. Zombies breathing with their mouths agape, crumbling to pieces from their death blow. Skeletons fall apart into a pile of parts, and so on. Attack animations have 3 levels of visual variety based on how successful the assault was. My favorite is likely Iga, who when supercharged pulls his opponent in, leaps up into the sky, and just body slams them back down into earth, like a train. Saying it's satisfying is underselling the smile it kept putting on my face. But the animation goes beyond the battlefield. You will see folks handing items to each other characters, taking knees in reverence to their king, and more. Walking animations see clothes bounce, bangs move, with Poco even removing his hat in front of his majesty. It's the first of 2 master classes G-Craft gives, with the second one being how much they could do with so little. Arc the Lad is not a large game concerning location variety. Grinding levels are often done in the same 2 or 3 locations per area, but somehow the developers keep it fresh by introducing ever-evolving side quests and what I have dubbed God-tier missions. Let's start with the former. You can easily miss important items within otherwise throwaway moments and comments. After you rescue the Water Guardian, he'll tell you that he's keeping an eye on your activities and will reward you for cleansing his land of monsters. Under the basics, this means killing off 10 enemies and returning for a useful item. However, if you go back and can slaughter enough monsters wholesale, returning to him he'll award Poco his final instrument piece. One accessory is even required by talking to a character 10 times in a row. They give you the item because they just want you to leave them alone. That's at least on the easy end of things. Let's talk about those god-tier missions. Starting with the least offensive, but easily failable, Changara's sketchbook. During the battles, you can have Changara search the enemy to get all their information. He'll jot it down in his book along with a cute little doodle. The catch is that many enemies are locked in dungeons that disappear once you finish them, so if you miss them, you miss them forever. Players will need to sketch the light and dark versions of all 7 characters, including Changara himself. Even his call spells will need to get sketch treatment for the full book. But that pales in comparison to the other 2, the Forbidden Ruins and the Tournament. If we're talking time sink, we'll start with the Forbidden Ruins. It's a measly 4 to 6 hour side quest, with players needing to travel down 50 floors of the ruin, fight what is essentially a hidden boss, acquire them as Changara's final call spell, and then fight back up the 50 floors to get out. But there's no save points, no magic or health replenishment outside of items found or had, and it has to be done in one go. One go. What's your reward for all this? Joko, an adorable little girl who can only be used in specific maps, but packs quite the wallop. But the granddaddy of them all, which is surprisingly helpful, is the Tournament Challenge. Once you get the story-related battle out of the way, the ultimate challenge unlocks. For every set of wins won, you'll be granted your choice of a prize. The gimmick is that it is strictly a one-on-one match, and the enemy scales up with your character's experience level. It starts with just needing to win 10 fights, and then 30, and then 100, and then eventually 1,000 wins. 1,000 one-on-one wins. Now, this is ridiculous to begin with, but it does have a funny strategic advantage. Because fights are one-on-one, you can focus on leveling up your characters in a controlled environment. I started with Ark, got him maxed out, moved to Kokoro, and then just kept going. By the time I successfully conquered the 1,000th fight, the 1,000th fight, Changara was the only character not hilariously maxed out. Every enemy became a one-hit kill. There are 2 rewards for achieving this monumental task. The first is copious amounts of usable items and 2 accessories to add to the collection. The second is working designs calling you out for spending all that time to do the deed. The game tells you to save, turn off the system, and go outside. Thanks, Uncle Vic. The final time sink for all that, an average game of Ark the Lad is 11 hours. With these 3 quests tacked on, it's 33 hours. So, be prepared. Bring a snack. Back to the standard review bullet points, that leaves music and story. The music is great. Battle tunes are fast-paced and rhythmic, cinematic orchestrations are both moody and inspirational. It's never lost in the background or buried under sound effects. Perfect execution there. Controls are fine, but there are a few oddities in how information is displayed. While in the accessories menu, you'll need to hold down a button to see what each accessory does. In the heat of battle, each option is assigned to a different button. It can sometimes trip you up and accidentally skip a character's turn, sometimes resulting in your death. With the story, there's a bit of a letdown, but it would have been a known factor at the time. The game was planned as a continuing story. Ark 2 was released only 6 months after the fact in Japan. While the usual tropes are carted out, there is a nice chemistry between the characters. The disappointment hits when you don't realize you have fought your last fight before the credits roll. There's no big bad guy, no alarming crescendo to hype up a fight. Players just plow through a wave of 2 enemy types, and the credits roll. I half expected Ark to tell Gogan he was here to finish the fight. That isn't to say it's bad, especially here in America where we got everything at once, but it did feel off enough to ding the overall score. For being the first step in a greater journey, Ark the Lad 1 is a great run with plenty to offer the completionist and the casual fan. With a standard runtime that can be done in a week or less, it's a sort of appetizer to the main meal that awaits in Ark the Lad 2. Don't let Ark 1's soft ending deter you from heading into the second disc with Ark the Lad 2. I've been at it for a few hours, and Ark 2 is so worth the trip. It's incredible. On the review scale, it's a solid 7 out of 10. Ark's beginnings are worthy of anyone's time, even if you don't try the 1,000 battles. But I did. I so did. Alright guys, that's the review. Ark the Lad 1 just really surprised me. It really is a short game, like 11 hours flies by. I need to apologize to all my Discord users for watching me rant as I went through the 1,000 battles. It is worth it from a leveling up experience. You walk into the last fight just armed to the teeth. It's incredible. But yeah, welcome to the new year. We got a lot of fun things going, and hopefully within the next 2 or 3 episodes, our first Japanese game to talk about. See you then. Take care.